Welcome to Lento English. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories, slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
1. Introduction. You probably see many electric cars now. People call them EVs. They are on our roads more and more. In many places, these cars are becoming very popular. You might notice that they are often quiet. Also, they do not have a tailpipe, so no smoke or bad gases come out when they drive. For these reasons, many people think electric cars are very good for the environment. They believe EVs are a perfect, green way to travel and can help solve many problems for our planet. But is this idea completely true? Is it really that simple? Are electric cars the perfect answer to help our planet and keep our air clean? The topic is not easy to understand. There are many different ideas. There are good things to consider about electric cars and their effect on the environment. However, there are also some not-so-good things that we need to think about carefully. This lesson will explore all these different points. We will look at the whole story of electric cars. We will start by understanding how they are built in factories. Then we will look at how they use power when they are driven every day. Finally, we will see what happens to them at the very end of their life. Our main goal is to understand if electric cars are truly better for our world in every way. We will learn about their clear benefits and also their hidden challenges. This careful look will help us make up our own minds about these important modern vehicles. 2. Clean air in our cities. One of the biggest benefits of electric cars is how they help the air in our cities. Regular cars, the ones that use gasoline or diesel, have an exhaust pipe. When their engines work, they burn fuel. This burning makes many different kinds of gases. Some of these gases are very harmful. They come out of the car's exhaust pipe and go into the air we breathe. These gases include things like carbon monoxide and nitrogen oxides. There are also tiny particles, like very small dust, that regular cars release. These tiny particles are bad for our lungs. Think about a busy street in a city. There are many cars driving there every day, perhaps thousands or even tens of thousands. Each car is letting out these gases and tiny particles. Over time, a lot of bad air builds up. This air pollution can make people sick. It can cause problems with breathing, like asthma, especially for children and older people. It can also make the air look hazy and not clear. This is why air quality in big cities is often a serious concern. The air can be full of invisible gases and tiny bits of dirt that we cannot see but can definitely feel and breathe in. Electric cars work in a very different way. They do not burn gasoline or diesel fuel to move. Instead, they use electricity stored in a battery. Because they do not burn fuel, they do not have an exhaust pipe. This means that when an electric car drives, it does not produce any harmful gases or tiny particles from its tailpipe. Nothing comes out into the air directly from the car itself. This is a very important difference for our cities, towns, and local neighborhoods. When more and more people choose to drive electric cars, the air in our towns and cities starts to get cleaner. There are fewer harmful gases and fewer tiny particles in the air. This change can make a big difference for everyone living in these areas. People can breathe better because the air quality improves right where they are. There might be fewer cases of breathing problems and other sicknesses linked to dirty air. The sky will look clearer, and the air will feel fresher. Children can play outside with less worry about breathing in bad air. Older people can go for walks and enjoy the clean air without feeling unwell. So, electric cars offer a direct way to improve the quality of the air right where we live and work. They help to make our city environments much healthier and more pleasant for everyone. This local benefit of cleaner air is one of the main reasons why many people see electric cars as a very good step for our future. It helps to protect the health of city residents every single day. 3. Quiet streets and good energy use. Regular cars make a lot of noise. Their engines hum loudly and their exhaust pipes often make a rumbling sound. When many cars drive on the streets, especially in cities, the noise can be constant. This constant sound is often called noise pollution. It can be tiring for people living or working near busy roads. It can also make it hard to have quiet conversations outside. The noise changes how our cities feel, making them feel busy and sometimes stressful. Electric cars are different. Their motors are much quieter, almost silent when they drive slowly. This means that streets with many electric cars can be much more peaceful. Imagine walking down a street where you can hear birds singing or people talking instead of just car engines. This quiet is good for people. It can make cities feel calmer and more pleasant. Less noise can also help reduce stress for people in urban areas. The quietness of electric cars also helps animals. Many animals, like birds and small mammals, live in and around our towns and cities. Loud car noises can scare them or make it difficult for them to hear each other. This can affect how they find food or warn each other about danger. With quieter electric cars, these animals might live more easily and peacefully in their homes close to human activity. The streets become a less scary place for them. Now, let's think about how cars use energy. Regular cars use gasoline or diesel fuel. When this fuel burns in the engine, it creates power to move the car. But a lot of this energy is lost. It turns into heat and escapes into the air, not helping the car move forward. This means that a lot of the fuel we put into a regular car does not actually make the car go. It is wasted energy. Less than 40% of the energy from the fuel usually helps the car move. The rest is lost as heat or sound. Electric cars are much better at using energy. They use electricity stored in a battery to power an electric motor. These motors are very efficient. They turn almost all the electricity into movement for the car. Very little energy is lost as heat. Some electric car motors can use up to 85% of their energy to move the car. This is a big difference compared to regular gasoline engines. Because electric cars waste less energy, they use the electricity they consume more effectively to travel. This makes them more efficient overall. 4. Making a new car. Before a car can drive, it must be built. Making a new car is a big job. It needs a lot of materials and energy. This is true for all cars, whether they use gasoline or electricity. First, factories need many raw materials. These include different types of metals, like steel and aluminum, for the car's frame and body. Plastics are used for many parts inside and outside. Glass makes the windows, and rubber is for tires. All these materials come from the earth. Getting these materials can be a long process. Metals must be mined from underground, then heated and shaped. Plastics are made from oil. This process of getting and preparing materials takes a lot of energy. When these materials arrive at car factories, more energy is used. Big machines cut, press, and weld metal parts together for the car's frame and body. Workers then put all the pieces together. They add seats, doors, lights, and wheels. All these manufacturing steps use a lot of electricity and fuel. These industrial processes can also create pollution. For example, making steel and aluminum can release gases into the air, causing air pollution. Factories also produce waste materials. Water used in factories often needs treatment before returning to rivers to avoid water pollution. So, building the main body and many parts of any car has a clear environmental cost. It uses many natural resources and a lot of energy. It can also cause pollution from factory processes. This part of making a car is quite similar for both a gasoline car and an electric car. Both need frames, wheels, seats, and other common parts built in factories. The environmental impact of creating these basic parts is important. This cost happens before the car ever drives, showing its environmental story begins early. Understanding these steps helps us see the full picture of a car's journey. 5. The big battery problem. An electric car has a very important part, its battery. This battery is often quite big and can be very heavy. It is the heart of the electric car, storing all the electricity the car needs to move from one place to another. Inside this large battery are many smaller parts, called cells. These cells are made from special materials. Two very important materials are metals called lithium and cobalt. These specific metals are chosen because they are very good at holding and releasing a lot of energy. They allow the battery to store enough power for the car to travel long distances. Without these unique and special materials, electric cars would not be able to work as they do today. So, where do these vital materials, like lithium and cobalt, come from? They are not found on the surface of the Earth. Instead, they come from deep inside the Earth's crust. To get them, people must do something called mining. Mining is a very large and difficult job. Workers use huge machines to dig enormous holes in the ground. They break up rocks and pull out soil and other earth materials. Their main goal is to find the hidden lithium, cobalt, and other important metals that are mixed in with the rock. This hard work takes place in many different countries around the world, often in places far from cities. Mining these materials can cause serious problems for our planet and the areas where it happens. First, digging such big holes and moving so much earth changes the land forever. It can destroy natural forests, grasslands, or other homes for many types of animals and plants. The large machines used in mining also make a lot of noise and produce a lot of dust. This dust can travel far through the air, making it dirty for people to breathe and covering plants. Mining also needs a huge amount of water. Sometimes this water is taken from rivers, lakes, or underground sources. When too much water is used for mining, there is less water left for local people to drink, for farmers to water their crops, or for animals to survive. After the mining work is finished, there is often a lot of waste material left behind. This waste can contain harmful chemicals or heavy metals. If this waste is not stored or cleaned up very carefully, it can pollute the soil and water for many years. This pollution can make the land unhealthy and dangerous for plants, animals, and even people living nearby. It is a big challenge to mine these materials without causing harm. Getting the raw materials from the ground is only the first step in making an electric car battery. After the materials are mined, they are not ready to be put into a battery. They need to be cleaned, processed, and refined. This processing uses a lot of energy. For example, turning raw lithium rock into a pure material that can be used in a battery takes many complex steps. Each step requires a lot of electricity and often a lot of heat. Then, these prepared materials are sent to large factories, usually in different countries. In these factories, skilled workers and advanced machines build the individual battery cells. These cells are then carefully put together to create one large battery pack for an electric car. Building such a big and powerful battery takes an enormous amount of energy. The factories operate many machines that run on electricity for many hours each day. If the electricity used in these factories comes from burning fossil fuels like coal or natural gas, then more pollution is created in the air, even before the car leaves the factory. So, even before an electric car drives its first mile on the road, a significant amount of energy has been used, and some pollution has been created, just to make its essential battery. This shows that the environmental story of an electric car starts long before it is driven. 6. Where the electricity comes from. An electric car has no exhaust pipe. This means no harmful gases come out while it drives. This is good for the air in our cities. But where does the electricity for these cars come from? The answer to this question is very important. It tells us how truly clean an electric car is. Imagine your electric car is like a big battery on wheels. This battery needs to be charged. The electricity for charging comes from power plants. There are different ways to make electricity. Some ways create a lot of pollution, and some ways create very little. In many places, electricity is made by burning fossil fuels. These fuels include coal, natural gas, and oil. When these fuels burn, they release gases into the air. These gases are bad for the environment. They can make the air unhealthy and contribute to climate change. So if you charge your electric car using electricity from a power plant that burns coal, your car is still linked to pollution. The pollution just happens at the power plant, not from your car's tailpipe. However, electricity can also come from cleaner sources. These are called renewable energy sources. Examples include solar power and wind power. Solar panels use sunlight to make electricity. Wind turbines use the wind to make electricity. These methods create electricity without burning fuels. They do not release harmful gases into the air during operation. Think about it this way. If you charge your electric car with solar power, your car is much cleaner. There is very little pollution made to power your car. If you charge it with electricity from a coal plant, then the pollution is simply moved from your car to the power plant. Some people call this idea the long tailpipe. A regular gasoline car has a short tailpipe. It releases pollution directly behind the car. An electric car has no tailpipe. But if the power plant making its electricity burns fossil fuels, that power plant acts like a very long, invisible tailpipe. It is far away, but it is still connected to your car's energy use. The pollution travels through the air to affect everyone. So, the environmental benefit of an electric car depends a lot on its power source. An electric car is only as clean as the electricity it uses. For electric cars to be truly good for the planet, we need to make sure our electricity comes from clean, renewable sources. This shift to green energy is a big part of making electric cars a better choice for everyone. It means thinking about the whole journey of electricity, from the power plant to your car's battery. This chapter helps us understand that the story of an electric car's environmental impact is complex. It is not just about what happens on the road. It is also about where the power comes from. Moving forward, having more clean energy sources will make electric cars even better. 7. A car's whole life story. To truly understand how good an electric car is for the environment, we need to look at its whole life. This is called a life cycle assessment. It means we follow the car from when it is first made until it is no longer used. We think about all the environmental impacts at every step. This helps us see the full picture, not just parts of it. First, we consider making the car. As we learned before, building any car uses many materials and a lot of energy. For electric cars, the battery is a big part of this. Getting materials like lithium and cobalt from the earth for batteries needs mining. This mining can use much water and energy, and it can harm the local environment. Making the car's body and other parts also creates pollution, just like with a regular car. So the start of an electric car's life has some environmental costs. Next, we look at driving the car. This is where electric cars show a big advantage. When an electric car drives, it makes no gases from a tailpipe. This helps keep the air clean in our cities. However, we also know that the electricity used to charge the car must come from somewhere. If the electricity comes from burning coal or gas, then pollution happens at the power plant. If the electricity comes from clean sources like the sun or wind, then driving is much greener. So the impact of driving depends on the energy source. Finally, we think about what happens when the car's life is over. What happens to the old car and its battery? Can parts be used again? Recycling parts and especially batteries can help reduce waste and the need for new materials. If parts are not recycled well, they can become waste that harms the environment. Thinking about the end of a car's life is an important part of its whole story. When we put all these steps together, making the car, driving it, and what happens at the end, we can compare the total environmental cost. Studies show that over its entire life, an average new electric car creates about half the harmful gases of a similar car that uses gasoline. This is because the pollution from driving a gasoline car for many years adds up to be much more than the extra pollution from making an electric car, especially its battery. Even with the energy used to make batteries and the source of electricity, electric cars generally have a smaller total impact on the planet over their whole life. They are a better choice for the environment in the long run. 8. An answer for the future. We have looked at many facts about electric cars. We asked if they are truly good for the environment. Now it is time to find an answer. First, let's remember the good things. Electric cars make our cities cleaner. They do not have exhaust pipes, so they do not put harmful gases into the air where we live. This means better air for everyone to breathe. Also, electric cars are very quiet. This helps make our streets more peaceful for people and for animals. They are also more efficient. This means they use less energy to travel the same distance compared to cars that use gasoline. Over their whole life, from being made to being driven and then recycled, electric cars generally cause less pollution than gasoline cars. This is a big step forward for the planet. However, electric cars are not perfect. We also learned about some challenges. Making the big battery for an electric car needs special materials like lithium and cobalt. Getting these materials from the ground through mining can harm the environment. This process uses a lot of energy and water. Also, we must think about where the electricity comes from to charge these cars. If the electricity is made by burning coal or gas, then pollution is still created, just at a power plant instead of on the street. So, what is the answer for the future? Electric cars are a much better choice than gasoline cars today. They help reduce pollution in our cities and waste less energy. They are a clear step in the right direction to a greener world. But to make them even better, we need to do more. One important thing is to make sure our electricity comes from clean sources. We need more power from the sun and wind, not from burning fossil fuels. Another key step is to improve how we get battery materials. We need ways that are less harmful to the environment. And when an electric car battery is old, we must have better ways to recycle it. This means we can use the materials again instead of throwing them away. Electric cars are not the only answer, but they are an important part of a bigger plan. With cleaner energy, better production methods, and good recycling, electric cars can become an even greater help for our planet's future. They are a positive change, and with more work, they can become even greener.